Hello, and welcome back to Legacy of Leaders, where we interview the brightest and most interesting leaders in the community. I'm your host, Whitney Mincey. I'm joined by a very special guest, Miss Julia Bliss from the Navy Recruiting Reserve Command. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So for those who are not aware of what it is that you do and what you're representing here today, go ahead and tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, so I specifically deal with prior service veterans, so veterans that have served either active duty or reserve time in any branch, and I help them to get back into the Navy Reserves.
Gotcha. And so what does that process look like when you meet a new prospect or person that is a veteran and they may be interested in what you're offering? How does that go?
It can be a very fast process.
Okay.
If they've recently separated, there are some documents that I can use to expedite medically.
Gotcha.
If they've been out for quite some time, they have to go back to MEPS, which is the Military Entries and Processing.
Got it.
But after that, it's smooth. A lot faster than the initial process for most active duty service members when they entered the military, but it's a quick process.
And so how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing it for 4.5 years.
Okay, so then you must enjoy what you do, right?
I do.
And what's your favorite part about it?
Allowing a veteran to be able to serve while they're still able to entertain or execute their civilian dreams, that really is the most important thing for me.
Yeah, and I can imagine there may be some people that have not thought about entering the reserves, and then when you bring it up, it's something that it's worth considering for them, right?
Yes.
Are there benefits or things that you usually share with people that are considering the opportunity?
Yes. So the big thing, when you're on active duty, the flexibility is not there.
Right.
It's a very stringent scheduling.
Right.
Not a lot of wiggle room. As a reservist, though, it's flexible. So most reservists are civilians out in the world.
Yeah.
And they understand that life happens. You need to reschedule. It can happen. Medical benefits are another big one that we like to afford everybody. It's affordable health care.
Yes.
So I'm sure you pay for health care.
Right. It's expensive. Yes.
So we want to push that to let veterans know that there is an option, that they can still serve, have affordable health care while still doing everything that they want to do in the civilian sector.
That's a great point. So what about those that maybe haven't served yet? What kind of advice would you give to someone that's considering joining for the first time?
Anybody that's joining for the first time, I highly recommend them just to walk into a recruiting station. Or I walk around all the time.
Yeah.
You see somebody in uniform, talk to them. Get their perspective of how the military is. They're good and bad.
Of course, any job, right?
Yeah. But to get the true experiences, for me personally, I have nothing but great things to say about my experiences within the military. So I always want to make sure that everybody knows all the benefits that could be at their fingertips if they were to actually go and try.
Yeah, great point. So this is Legacy of Leaders. We usually like to talk about leadership a little bit. If there was any advice you could give to someone that wants to be a good leader or possibly planning to step into leadership at some point, what would you tell them?
There's always a mission, right? I would say the mission is your top priority, but in order to have that mission, you have to take care of your people.
Oh yeah, that's such a good point. Yeah, you want to elaborate on that a little more for us?
Sure. So your people are your bread and butter, and if you don't have you want to call your people the foundation of your mission. If that foundation is weak, you're not going to get to where you need to be.
Yeah, excellent point. Well, thank you so much for joining us here today. It looks like we're out of time, but if you want to learn more about Julia and everything that she's doing out in the community, please make sure you go to iwantabuzz.com, and we will see you next time on Legacy of Leaders.